Welcome back to That Dead Guy. It's Friday and it's April the 22nd, 2022. It has been a short mail week. So Tuesday through Friday this week, mail was delivered. And yeah, we're still gonna go out to the mailbox, see what has arrived today. It is nice out. It's 15 degrees here today. Before we go too far, let's have a look at the flower situation. So we got a few tulips coming up. No flowers yet, but the tulips are coming up, so hopefully we'll see them soon. The lawn, you can tell, is a little greener than it has been, so that's a positive. I still need to rake, I still need to get out and do that sort of work, but it's coming along. All right, let's just check the mailbox. There's stuff in here. Oh, there's a lot of stuff in here. And a bunch of them are just ads. But I do see some of That Dad Guy stuff in here too. So let's go back in and I'll show you what I got for the week. That's a good amount of stuff. What a week. A 4-day delivery, Tuesday through Friday, and all this showed up. 24 things showed up this week. That's the most I've ever had in the course of a week, let alone a short week. And 9 of them are official from Postcrossing. So yeah, my mailbox has been full. I'm very happy with what's come in, and sit back because this is going to be a longer video than I normally do. I normally like to keep my videos between 10 and 12 minutes. Sometimes they'll run a little bit longer and sometimes a little shorter, but I suspect this one's going to run a little bit longer with this much and what I've got to say about the different things. So let's just dive right into it after I say thank you so much for liking, subscribing, and commenting on my videos. You guys are what makes this channel a success, and the more I hear about people liking the videos and new to Postcrossing, it just makes me happy. So keep commenting, I appreciate it. All right, let's get started. The very first one is coming from the US. It's a blue cat card. I do not have this one. This person says they like them also, and one day hopes that people will see this card and not understand what it's talking about. And I hope it that same thing happens, that you can see the cat with the mask on for the virus and hoarding the toilet paper. It's funny. It's a funny card. It's sad when you think about what the topic's about now, but one day I too hope that people will see this card and just laugh at the silliness of the cats and not understand what was happening in the world at the time. And here are the United States stamps that are there. And so that is from Lori. So I appreciate that so much. It's a great one. And she watches That Dad Guy. So she's going to see this video. And hopefully she appreciates that she's the first card in the lot of the biggest week I've ever had. So thank you, Lori, for the card and the well wishes and tuning in and watching what I put out. The next one comes from Taiwan. This is a very special card. This is also someone who's been watching my channel, so I appreciate that. And funny thing, she said she decided to send me this card because it's drawn by one of her friends. And she thought that if I showed it on my channel, her friend would be honored to have it shown. And I am honored that these people are watching. People are watching around the world. I'm going to show the card longer so people can really appreciate the beauty that has been done here. And so this card is from Taiwan, South Taiwan, and is famous for its sweet food. All right, that sounds like I need to go visit and enjoy because I love beautiful scenery and I love food. And on the back, she drew a little hedgehog. And then we've got some Taiwanese stamps there. So thank you so much for that. That is from Yin, so I appreciate that. I appreciate that your friend is such a marvelous artist and that you're a marvelous artist with little hedgehog polo there. I appreciate it. The next one comes from the Netherlands. And this person said she used to live in Canada and she's lived in many different countries. She loves to travel, and she sent me this. She said she didn't have a hedgehog postcard. I don't need to have hedgehog postcards every time, just like I don't need blue cats. When I put them in my my biography or the write-up. It's just suggestions if people had them. I enjoy seeing them. If not, I just enjoy getting cards. So whether it's one you've made, whether it's one about your hometown, whether it's something you're interested in, it doesn't matter. I appreciate it, and I think other people appreciate it when I show all the different cards. If I just showed Blue Cat all the time or Hedgehog all the time, people would get bored with it. And so thank you so much for this. This looks like spring. It is starting to look like spring outside. It feels like spring. I think people's moods are better. I'm going to show you the stamp here too. So thank you so much for that. And from Chris, so I appreciate that. The next one, kind of funny. It is from Germany, and these are some European hedgehogs, I would say, from behind. My little hedgehog is definitely not that big, and not that color scheme either. And this is another person who watches my YouTube channel. I love the fact that people around the world are finding my channel and are tuning in and are enjoying what's going on. So they even asked, have you seen any flowers in your garden yet? As I showed you at the start of the video, they are starting up, but the flower part or the colored part has not shown up yet. It's coming, and there are some trees that have some buds on them. So stay tuned. If you keep watching, eventually you'll see them. There's the stamp that's included. So thank you that you're having spring in Germany. It is here. We're just waiting a little bit longer to see the colors and things bloom in my yard. I know other people have crocuses up and daffodils up already, and when I go for a walk or a drive by, I certainly can see the colors in their yards. It just means I need to plant some more colors that bloom earlier in the season. All right, the next one also comes from Germany. This one here, kind of a German garden, they said. They're in Berlin, and they say, you know, you kind of have to look around for space to garden. I love the fact that people are using old boots and shoes as planters. They're raised garden beds, which is nice because you're not always bent over in order to garden or weed in them. So it's very useful and a good way to use the space that's available. So thank you for that. I think that's from Beatty. And her husband and her dog of 16 years old. That's great. Thank you so much. The next one, a cute card, comes from Austria. And we got a couple cows giving each other a little kissy kiss there. I forget, did I show you the stamp on the back of that one? I may or may not have. So let's go back and show you that one. All right, get back to this one. So this is a teacher in Vienna who's written this one, and Christoph. And I'll show you the stamps on the back. I like the little horse, the fowl or the foal or whatever, young horse. And I know we'll get a comment correcting me on what a young horse is called, and it's not, I don't know if it's a pony or not. In this case, it looks like it's a miniature horse. So it may not even be a young horse, but just the breed is smaller. So that's what I'm going with. This person also loves the Beatles, so nice to see fellow Beatle people out there. The next one comes from the United States, comes from Emily. She's 13 years old. This is from Pittsburgh, home of my Pittsburgh Steelers, my football team that I appreciate the most. And Emily has 8 cats, 2 hamsters, and lives with her grandparents and aunt. So Emily, hopefully you get a chance to see this. There's the stamp. I appreciate it. It's nice to see young people in this hobby as well as us old people, and to appreciate sending cards and stamps and seeing the world. And at 13 years old, this is a wonderful way of learning about other people's history and culture. So keep writing those postcards and sending them. All right, the next one comes from Great Britain. It's a Postcrossing meetup card from October of 2021. There's a retired teacher, and he's visited Moncton before, which is fantastic that he's come here. Julian, and I appreciate that he's traveled. Hasn't been traveling much with COVID, but one day hopefully he'll be out traveling again. And there are all the stamps. I love this one here, the post box. and the newer ones. So it's nice, and none of them are canceled. You see that? Oh, no, there is a cancellation right through here. These two aren't canceled though. So thank you, Julian, for that. And the last official one I have came in an envelope. Look at the stamps. Look at the stamps. This comes from Germany, even though right here is a Canadian stamp. And it's a special delivery stamp. I'm not sure if that's in my father's collection or not. So that might be a very special one. I appreciate this big stamp here and the border. So it's got the whole specialtiness of it. Specialtiness, I may have just invented that word. But this is from Hamburg. So what's inside? Well, first you have this postcard, which is created by himself. Or herself. It's from Steffi. He said, hoping this will put a smile on your face. It does. When I saw what you did, this is fantastic. I can't wait to show you all the stuff that's in here. But you've done all that. I really appreciate that she colored in the Ukrainian flag there at the bottom, because she too is hoping that situation in Ukraine gets resolved quickly and those poor people can get back to rebuilding their lives. Now, inside, Steffi has included this postcard, which is blank, but it is a room full of seniors that are debating which is better, the Beatles or the Stones. I'm sure there's a lot of that goes on, whether the Rolling Stones were the best band or whether the Beatles were the best band. And I don't know if you can debate it. Both are great bands, just the Beatles are better. And this one is also a blank card. Beautiful scenery. Blank on the back. So she sent that. She also sent some stamps. Some used stamps that were on that she had no use for, but hoped that me or my father would love to have them. I'll show you those. And they're not all German stamps. This one here is Japanese. Another beautiful Japanese one. There's an Australian one. They're mostly German though. So thank you, Steffi. Thank you for all that wonderful surprise within the envelope. I guess that's the nice thing about envelopes, is that you can sometimes send more stuff for the same price of postage as you would for a postcard. And either one is appreciated. So thank you. So that's it for official. Now let's get into the swaps that I do, the friend mail, the surprises that people send. And the first one I have of that comes from Basil in India. This gentleman out maybe having a fish on the river in his boat, his canoe. What I really appreciated, Basil's a big stamp collector. Here's a pandemic stamp. I really like that. Thank you, Basil. Thank you for watching the channel. Thank you for following, for supporting the stamp things that I put out and everything else. So thank you for that. The next one comes from Petra, who lives in the UK, but was home to her hometown in Germany for a visit. So she sent me this card with these monuments outside. So she's had a nice visit home. She's now back in the UK, but this would have been the first time that she was able to return home since her father's funeral, which is sad. And there's the stamps from Germany. And thank you for swapping. All right, the next one I have comes from another Steffi in Germany, and we swapped a couple times now. She sent this card thinking that the first one hadn't arrived quick enough and thought it might have gotten lost in the mail, so she sent me a second one. She didn't need to do that, but I appreciate it, and I certainly will respond in kind. And there's the stamps that Steffi put on it. So thank you so much. The next one is a surprise card that I got, and it comes from Belgium, and it's a Postcrossing. another meetup card. Just happened recently in March. This is painted on a building, and all the people that were at the meetup took a picture in front of it. So that's really cool. I really appreciate that. And it's nice to get surprises in the mail. There's the back. We've got the stamps. We've got all the signatures and things from the meetup people. Wonderful. So thank you so much for that, Liv in Belgium. And she's been one of my earliest supporters on the channel. She's been around a long time. If you go back in my video catalog, she actually sent me a big parcel right at the starting of my Postcrossing that has all sorts of wonderful creations that she did, from greeting cards to different Lego things, and it was just incredible little pocket thing. Very creative. I appreciated showing that and receiving it in the mail. All right, the next one's from our friend Lewis. He got the Dungeons and Dragons postcards, the same ones that I bought, and so now we're going to be able to have some fun trading back and forth cards, maybe similar ones. He's already requested one out of the box that I sent him, so he's done that. Here we've got a dinosaur. There's the stamp. He's in Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates. So that is great. Yeah, this is a good job. It's 30 degrees there. It's 15 here. It feels like summer almost, but 30 would be nice, and we'll get that. We'll get there eventually, but we'll never have 30 in March and April. Not here anyways. The next one, look at this Star Wars card. This is from the book series that came out, and this is from Annick, and she writes in French that this card finds me in good health, and hopes that I had a good Easter break, and was happy to do a correspondent exchange with me. And there's the Canadian stamp. She's put a bunch of older Canadian stamps on it. She found me on the Postcrossing Canada site, I think, and reached out if we could swap. So it's fantastic. Merci beaucoup, Annick, pour la carte et pour les timbres. J'ai apprécié beaucoup. So there we go. The next one, get ready to laugh. This one comes from Michelle in England. It's an oversized card here. The example. There's that card and the other card. It's a huge card, and she's put a hedgehog stamp and a pandemic stamp on there for me. Appreciate that. The washi tape. Michelle always does a good job. She sent this card just before going out to see her first football match in Lincoln, and I think from watching her Instagram posts and seeing what happened, that she had a good time. She enjoyed that, and the home team did win. So I appreciate that. I appreciate the stamp for Polo, and it did give me a good laugh. It was funny seeing that. Now the next one, another Star Wars, another huge card. So we said this was big. This one's even bigger. And there's Jabba's barge, famous scene from Return of the Jedi. For us older people, it was movie number 3. It is now movie number 6. I know in the early credits, it always gave you the Roman numerals to let you know it was going to be movie 6. But when it came out, it was the 3rd one for us. One of my favorites. I wouldn't say it is my absolute favorite of the movies, although it has many great scenes. I'm always an Empire Strikes Back person. That was the movie that I relate mostly to, but this one comes from Kathy in Ontario. I don't think I even mentioned that. I just got into chit-chatting. She was another private swap. There's the Canadian stamp on the back for the Queen's Jubilee. The Queen yesterday just celebrated her 96th birthday, so happy birthday to Your Majesty if you happen to be watching today, because I know you're probably a big fan of that dad guy, and if you are, that's great. So she was the same. She saw this particular movie, get back on topic, 3 times in high school. She's not sure if it was because she liked the movie or because her boyfriend liked the movie at the time. I thought that was kind of funny. So thank you, Kathy, for that. Now we have an envelope, and it comes from, let me just cover this back up again. This comes from Julie Norman. Some of you may be watching her on YouTube as well. She does a great job. She buys and sells things, so you have a lot of eBay, so she buys old postcards or vintage pictures and things like that. She does a bunch of videos on that. So we have all these American stamps. And then inside, she sent this hedgehog postcard. So she had a few different things in here, and some of them are just incredible. She got a little sticker on the back. First I'm going to show you, she sent me these stamps. So she's had an envelope or whatever and cut them off. So those are very nice. She sent stickers. So there's a Canadian themed sticker with the moose and the maple leaf. There's a British themed sticker, the Union Jack. And then we have some stamps that she's found along the way. And thought that we could make use of them. So I appreciate that. Always love getting stamps. Mr. Abraham Lincoln. And then this is what I really want to show you. She went into her post office and they were just going to throw these away, and she saved them. I'm glad she saved them. They're 2 cards that you would write. And you put your safety information on the back, maybe where you are. And these cards came out for the US postal system in case of nuclear attack. So these are emergency cards that would go ahead of any other mail that was going out. If this was filled out in the area, the post office would have to make sure that these got first dibs on getting out and getting to their destination. It made sure that people were safe. Luckily, these were never had to be used. And so the post office has had these sitting around forever. And we're just clearing out stock, and we're just going to throw them away. This is a bit of history. You might say it's a bit of American history, but I think it's more a bit of world history. You think of the Cold War and what was going on, all the different crises we've had along the way where we feared that World War III was coming and we could have a nuclear attack. It's something we still think about now with what's going on in the Ukraine, that if other countries were to step up and get involved in it, that it could escalate quickly into a third world war. So these cards, even though they are a relic of the past, still make me think of what the present is going on. I appreciate to no end, Julie, that you have saved this bit of history and sent it on to me, that I was able to share it. Yeah, it's something that it scares a lot of people, and I'm glad that maybe some people are thinking that it is not a threat anymore, and we don't have to worry about it, and I hope they're right. Anyways, let's move on. This one comes from Finland, from Media. She is a loyal sender of mail to me, and she sent 2 cards. The first one was from her trip to Norway, so the fjords. This little girl standing in front of all sorts of beautiful scenery that's been put in behind her. She was in Norway to Oslo for a short trip, but had a great time at the ballet and doing some museums. And then this one from 1952 came from the Sports Museum in Helsinki. And so we have a vintage postcard of times gone by. So 70 years ago. Reminder of old Olympics in Finland. So thank you for that. She sent another one, this one from Norway. So there's the Norwegian Viking stamp on the front. She's got the royal family. And she's also sent the ski jump from Oslo as well. Not something I would want to go flying down on, but I do appreciate watching it in the Olympics. And whenever I think of ski jump, I think of Eddie the Eagle, the British skier that was in Canada for the 1988 Winter Olympics, that stole the hearts of many when they watched him. He was an underdog from the beginning. He wasn't going to win gold, but he was competing at something that England had never had a ski jumper before, and so he was the first of his kind. So that was great. All right, moving on again. So this comes from Zachary in Lansing, Michigan. And there is no postcard in it, but it is funny. It is interesting. He sent me a letter, and he said that he is a Chicago White Sox fan, and he had some baseball cards that he didn't want and thought that I would appreciate. So Jabba Chamberlain of the New York Yankees was a star closer and reliever for a short time with the Yankees. And then Dave Rigotti in the 90s, Jim Leyritz, Steve Farr. So you can see the pattern here. These are all New York Yankees. And because he was a Chicago White Sox fan, he thought that maybe I would appreciate them better. But this was the one that made me laugh the most. This is Tom Selleck. And he was in a movie called Mr. Baseball, where he was a New York Yankee at the beginning. This is Frank Thomas. This is an actual baseball player known as the Big Hurt. He played for the Chicago White Sox, so he might have wanted to keep this card just for that player. But Tom Selleck was a washed-up baseball player, or semi-washed up, went off to Japan, and he had a bit of an attitude. It was a funny movie, but just to see him in the Yankees baseball card, kind of cool. So thanks, Zach, for sending those on to me. What do we have next? The next we have, okay, this comes from Samantha, or Monster. She has a nickname, Monster, and her husband's nickname is Moose. There are the stamps. She's in the United States. She had reached out to me asking if I would send a Moose postcard to her for her husband, which I did. And in return, she sent this. So we have this castle, which is in Connecticut, for William Gillette. He played Sherlock Holmes, American actor, and this was his house. So he had looks kind of run down a bit now, but is very castle-like. And I'm sure it's something you can still go visit. So I appreciate that. But what she went above and beyond that blew me away, and what she wanted when she reached out wanting to send me something, was this. She painted fan art for Polo. Here we have Polo. There's a scene right at the very beginning where you see Polo in a big oversized coffee mug. So she's taken that image, put my That Dad Guy logo on it, put him in it. And this is beautiful. This is very well done. I am impressed. This is the very first piece of fan art that I've received, whether for me or for Polo. So Sam, you have the distinction of sending me the first piece of art about Polo. So I appreciate that. And it's very well done. It's great. I can't wait to show it to my daughter. My daughter's playing rugby today, so I get the chance to go see her after I've done all this. All right, the next one I have, looks like some Easter stamps there. It comes from Sweden. This is from Kristen. She's been very good at sending things, and I appreciate it. So she sent me this card, and she talks a little bit about all the people that she would like to be sending cards to in Russia and receiving, and because of the embargo and stopping mail going through, we can't right now. So hopefully one day things will get resolved and we can start corresponding with our friends in Russia again. She talks about the flowers down here. I think these are called bluebells here. I'm not sure. I think she's got a Swedish stamp on the back. She didn't need to put a stamp on the inside envelope, but she did. And she included something for a video next week. So if you know the past and you've watched some of these other videos, you probably know what's inside that envelope. All right, the next one comes from Doreen in Ottawa. There's the stamp she's put on. She also reached out to me after watching some of my videos and things. She has sent this card of the Ukrainian Easter eggs, and she talks a bit about what she's included in here, which we are going to see also in the same video that Kristen's stuff goes in. She has a special attachment to Ukraine because her husband is Ukrainian. And she works in Ottawa. Like I said, she works for Canada Post as well. And so I'm going to do a special video for Ukrainian stamps, and those two are definitely going to be featured in that video. So that's it. We've come to the end. Hard to believe that so much loveliness can come in the mail. if you're new to Postcrossing, this is what can happen. You're just going to make friends everywhere. Great thing about YouTube is that my voice, my images go out there, and we can spread the love of what gets sent. So I appreciate every one of you that each week takes the time to put something together, whether it's a beautiful artistic rendering of polo in the mug, or whether it was baseball cards from days gone by, and all the messages and loveliness that you guys have sent. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys, so stay tuned. That's 2 videos out today. You had the 1-year anniversary of Postcrossing, came out earlier today. You have this one. Tomorrow I'm looking at 2 videos. I have That Dad Guy Answers coming out tomorrow. So if you haven't gotten your question in, any deadlines today to go back to the last That Dad Guy Answers, leave your question and I'll answer it on tomorrow's video. Also, I've been given a ticket to go see the car show that's in Moncton. So I'm gonna do a special video about that tomorrow. So that's coming out. Sunday, I have all sorts of mail to write back, so I'll have a video on mail writing on Sunday. So this weekend, I'm hoping to get 5 videos out over a 3-day period. It's a lot of work, and I still have a family that I have to be a part of and things we need to do, so I will balance those as best I can. As I've said, we've got a Ukrainian video that will come out next week. And for those of you who still want to contribute to that, make sure, if you don't have my address already, write to me at robertlennox@gmail.com. I'll give you the address if you want to send Ukrainian stamps that I can show off and then give to my father after. That is going to be underway. Lots of great things. You guys are participating, and the subscribers are there. More people are coming on board and loving it. So this has been a long video for me. Hopefully you guys have made it to the end and have stuck around to see me go, woohoo! That's all you get. Anyways, stay safe. What, Polo? You say like, subscribe, share, and tell all your friends?
Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?